Hello, welcome back everybody. A Fred 2 video. So no editing really, low resolution, 720p and all that. Just thought I'd put this video up for a bit of a chat, something that's not radio based. So I know there's lots of people that don't like all the radio videos. So here we are sitting in the Ibiza FR, which is my sort of winter car, if you like. And gonna have to do a little job on the Ibiza today, something I'm not really looking forward to, as I've been putting this off for a number of weeks now. Not really had to do much work on the Ibiza. You know that I sort of take on small jobs on my cars where I can. I do know that my limitations, and I must admit, as I'm getting older and a bit more creaky, if you like, I tend to put the cars into the garage more. And also, you know, as you get older, you can generally afford to. Obviously, you know, when I did car maintenance when it started, I just couldn't afford garage prices, but now it's a bit of a hobby. So the Ibiza, yeah, not really done many videos. I had a few niggly sort of problems with it when I bought it back in 2008. A couple of little issues with it, but it's always stopped and goed. Is that right? Or it's always gone and stopped. That makes sense. Never had any problems that have really taken it off the road, just a few niggly little bits. As I say, it's 10 years old this year, so I will be getting rid of it. I generally keep cars 10 years as a rule. As you know, I've got 2 cars, so I tend not to get bored with them. If I only had 1 car, I'd be bored with it in about 3 or 4 years, and I'd have to sort of chop it in. I'd be getting new cars or newer cars all the time, and that sort of, you know, costs you money in the long run. So I tend to keep them for about roughly sort of 10 years. So what's gone wrong? Well, this one, what I noticed just before Christmas was that when I was driving, the indicator lights there were flashing, but there was no audio sound. There was no click, 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 like you would normally get. Also, I noticed that the lights left on alarm didn't work. So went onto the Seat forum and checked that. And everybody says that it's one of 2 things. Apparently, behind the speedo there is a very, very small 1-inch little speaker, and that makes all of the audio warning and sounds that you would get, like, as I say, like the indicators, the lights left on, the low temperature warning, coolant warning, fuel warning, all those bings and bongs that these cars make. Well, apparently the speaker can foul. Also, there is an audio processing chip as well that I think is on the back of this instrument cluster board, and that can foul. Now that isn't repairable, but the speaker is. And the good news is that it's not expensive, and here it is, you can make it out. Tiny little speaker there was about £3 something on eBay. So it's worth changing the speaker to see if that cures the problem. As I say, if the sound processor chip's gone, that's beyond what I can do. I did think about, well, okay, I'll run it in the dealers and get them to do it. But amazingly, well, I just want to say amazing, I'm not really this surprised. The dealer would want to change the whole instrument cluster. The whole thing has to come out and put a new one in. And no one on the forum had actually paid for that. But I think the instrument cluster itself, they reckon the part was about 400 and something pounds, and then you've got the labour involved in having to remove it. So, you know, what do you reckon? 800 quid or something? Ridiculous, just to cure. So in that case, I'd just put up with it, you know. And you could say, well, Fred, what, you know, why not? Why don't you sort of put up with it? You know, the indicators are working. Well, it's surprisingly annoying. I've really missed it actually. When you're sort of driving and you put your indicators on, and you've got no noise, you have to keep looking down to making sure that they've cancelled or they're actually working. Now, if this had gone when the car was sort of just outside of warranty, say it was 4 years old, I probably wouldn't have bothered. I do not like doing anything really on dashboards, especially when you've got a very, which I call really a cheap and nasty dashboard like you've got on the Ibiza. That's my one criticism on the car. I'm not really going to criticise it for what I paid for it, but the dashboard is very much hard plastic. And unlike the Volvo, now you do something on the Volvo, when I took the glove box out of the Volvo to fit the digital MP3 player, 6 Torx screws, you know, undo 6 Torx, the whole thing lifts out. This is all plastic clips. There's a few screws, but then you've got to pop these plastic clips. And what I found in the past is they very seldom go back without breaking one, or when you do get it back, it then can start to creak and groan, and I've got enough creaks and groans on this car anyway. Another tip, right? Yeah, you buy a sports model, you buy like the hot hatch model, the GTI, the FR, whatever. Very nice when it's new. You know, fast forward 7-8 years, everything starts to creak because of the hard suspension banging over sort of speed bumps and everything else. So perhaps not such a good idea if you want to sort of comfort and you want a low noise level. Good job that I'm 80% deaf, because I can actually turn my own noise level down, but not such a good thing. So that's what I'm going to do today. Now, to get to this little speaker, I have to take all of the instrument cluster out, and thankfully some Spanish guys done a video on that. It's a little bit daunting. I won't video myself doing it because I really do need to concentrate. I might just start the camera, you know, a little way through the job and sort of let you know I'm getting on, but I really do need to sort of concentrate. Not the best day to do it. It's cold, it's January, it's about 2 or 3 degrees ambient temperature outside. Really best to sort of tackle plastics when they're warm. In the summer, can't do that, so I'm gonna have to put a sort of a fan heater on the thing. Another thing that I'll say as well, if you're stupid enough or you're brave enough to tackle anything to do with the instruments, always disconnect your car battery. I see a lot of videos on YouTube where people rip dashboards out without disconnecting the car battery. Why? Well, firstly, there is a chance that your airbags might go off, because if you yank out a plug and the airbag detection system detects a massive drop in voltage, it might think that you've had an accident. There is a slight possibility your airbags will go off, but what is most likely to happen is when you disconnect it and reconnect it, you probably get your airbag warning light come on, which is an MOT failure in the UK. You have to have that clear to get through an MOT, which then means you have to connect up a laptop into the into the car's diagnostic port. On this one, it'll be VAGCOM, and then you have to remap it out. Pain in the arse. So disconnect your battery, and also when you do disconnect your battery, leave the car for a little while. I tend to leave it for a good half an hour. Why is that? Well, because when you think about it, with your airbag systems in your car, and there's multiple airbags in cars now, they do generally have a small capacitor to hold a little bit of charge in the event that, say you had a really heavy frontal collision and the battery was damaged and disconnected from your car. Well, in that sort of microsecond, if you like, your airbag still needs a small amount of power to function, to ignite the charge and to blow the airbag out. So generally airbags do have a small capacitor that holds a little bit of voltage, a little bit of charge, just so that it will work in the event of a really nasty front end. So when you do disconnect your battery, you've still got a little bit of charge in that capacitor, and so I don't think your airbag will go off, but like I say, when you reconnect it, you run a risk of having the airbag light on. Anyway, I've been waffling on. It's going to be a waffle video, you know, just on Fred to it, doesn't matter. So next, I'm going to put a fan heater, and I'm going to heat up all of the instrument binnacle here, try and get the plastic as warm as I can, and then I'm going to go through the video and remove this. I'll let you know how I get on. Then I'll take this indoors, and then we can look at the speaker and see if I can replace it. Okay, a lot of waffling, of course, but thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next bit. So there we go. Got the old fan heater there, glowing on the plastic, just trying to warm it up as much as possible, and that really does help in trying to not break those clips, because those clips really break easy, you know, when you're working with cold plastic. Another thing that I do, because I'm old, is when I watch a video, I tend to sort of almost do my own kind of checklist, so I can follow step by step, even showing the point where certain clips are on trim, that you know where to push. Another tip, I try not to use screwdrivers. You really need to use a pry bar, try and use a plastic or nylon one. If you have to resort to a metal one, then you're better off with a dedicated clip removing tool such as this. Screwdrivers tend to don't work at all. They just generally leave a lot of damage. And finally, get yourself a piece of cardboard. Why? Well, I'll show you why in a little while when I've actually got the instrument cluster out. Anyway, enough talking, and big leap of faith, and I need to get on and do it. Another little thread tip: if you've got some recessed screws like I've got here to take out this instrument cluster, if you drop those, they are going to fall right in behind all of this dashboard and you've lost them. So get yourself a cloth, like I've got this microporous cloth here, and just tuck it round below the screw, so if it does drop when you remove it, it won't fall right behind the back of the dashboard. Hopefully you can gather it up in the cloth and you can get it out that way. So do you remember that piece of cardboard I showed you? Well, here's the trick. What you do is, as you remove each screw, you basically push it through or screw it into the cardboard and just write down where it's from. I mean, it's so easy to do a job and take a lot of time and patience, and then lose a screw. You know, you put it into a pot, you knock the pot over, and you spend more time then looking for the screw or trying to find a screw to replace it than you did doing the job itself. So this is something I learned a long time ago. Also, even though everything should be generic on a car, you might find that sometimes the manufacturers have screwed something in cross-threaded or maybe forced something in. So by putting it into the cardboard in the way that you take it out left and right, if you have got a slightly dodgy screw or slightly dodgy thread, it goes back in the correct speed clip. So there you go, that is a very, very good tip. Just a piece of cardboard, put your screws in there, you won't lose them, and you'll know where they are when you come to put everything back. Well, I got it out, took about half an hour, and it's a bit kind of odd seeing that tiny little scratch there on the silver surround. It's so delicate, this plastic. Unfortunately, that's the only sort of damage, you know. That's not too bad. So right, I can now take this indoors, and then we can have a look on the back. We can see that speaker there. Can you see that? That is the speaker that we believe has failed. Well, hopefully that's the problem. That's about all I can fix. So we can take that indoors, strip that down, and solder in a new speaker. But that's the main thing. I've got it out. Of course, I have to get it back. Maybe get it out was the easy part, but in theory things go back easier once you know what you're doing. Oh well, see how we get on. Anyway, let's take this indoors, get in the warm. So got the cluster inside. Seems that relatively easy. Just a few screws there and a few clips to get to the speaker. So I think we need to get that back cover off. Okay, first look at the speaker. There it is. I think the one that I've got might just be a fraction smaller, and I can't see what ohms that speaker is, but I can see the contacts, which is quite handy. Seems to be fixed onto the board though. Can't. So I'm not sure at the moment. I could, in theory, just stick my speaker on top there. There is clearance, and wire into it. I don't know if it's worth taking this apart or not. Can't really see much of an advantage, so I've got a feeling I might just wire mine on, piggyback mine, and just stick it straight on the back there. Hopefully it'll be okay being a bit smaller. That's all I can do really. I don't want to go any further into this circuit board. Somewhere on there I assume is a sound processor, but if that's gone, well, you know, that's beyond really what I want to do. Right, so that's the little speaker connected. I've just piggybacked it straight onto the other connections. I haven't bothered to remove the other speaker. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or not. If the sort of voice coil, if you like, has blown on the other speaker, it shouldn't make any difference. If there's a short, in theory it shouldn't make any difference, but it's about as deep as I want to go into this. So there we go, that's the cover back on, and the speaker there just behind the grill. The original one was firing down, and it's a bit odd, this one firing up. So yeah, like I say, hopefully that's going to work. It's about as deep as I want to get into it. Don't want to break anything. So yeah, I just finished me very important cup of tea and carefully put it back in the car, and then everything crossed and we're going to get some noise out of it. Well, there you go, an empty piece of cardboard, and that means that all of the screws are back, and there's a dashboard, it's gone back. And I'm pleased to say, other than that very, very small little mark there, everything went back, no clips broken. I've reconnected the battery, and I'm very pleased to say that my mileometer's working. I've got the miles come back up, the clock and the trip compute, or the trips set back to 0. So I guess it's the moment of truth. Do you know, as I've been doing the job, my confidence level has been dropping. This is quite familiar when I've done things on cars. I mean, bearing in mind, I've rebuilt engines before, done clutches, done bearings on gearboxes. As you get older, your confidence level drops. So at the moment, I'm about maybe 50-50 or maybe 60-40 to failure. I'm not sure that speaker was the fault. I'm thinking it might be the actual module, the actual sort of sound generator chip thing. So I suppose the easiest way is to switch the lights on, as hopefully the dashboard lights will come on. Fingers crossed. Yep, that's all come on. And then open the door. Oh! I haven't heard that since Christmas. That's the little dong that tells me the door's opening lights on. Right, just to check the indicators. I'm feeling a lot happier, guys. Mate, I'm in gear, so I've got to be careful here. Right, here we go. Yay! Hear that? Oh, I'm well pleased. I am ecstatically pleased. So it was the speaker. It was what they said it was on the forum. They said that little speaker fails. And what happens, and I've seen this, is that you get condensation build up in the early mornings when you first run the car. And because I do very short trips, my commute is only 6 miles to work, 6 miles back. A diesel car really isn't the correct choice. So I chose a diesel because this is a performance diesel, and it's got some very impressive mid-range performance figures with the turbo and everything. And it does go well, but although it's good on fuel, it takes a little spider there. Can you see that? A little spider just come into the car. I'll let him live. Yeah, it takes a long time to warm up, so I do get condensation build up sometimes behind the gauges there, and I think it's the condensation that's attacked the voice coil on the speaker and wrecked it. God, I'm so relieved. I turn the ignition off. It's a very slightly different sound. It's actually a clear. It's it's a fraction quieter, but it's clearer. Unbelievable. Well, that wasn't a job that I was looking forward to. I've almost dreamt about that and gone through it. All of the paperwork, all of the tools. And there you go. It's fixed. That's a £3. I think it's £3.38 delivered speaker there from eBay, and it's fixed. As opposed to, I don't know, £700-800 in the dealership. Well, there you go. That's I know it's a boring video. I know this is going to go on probably 30 minutes or something, or 25 minutes, but it's something a bit different. There is another little job I want to do on this car, which I'll probably get done today. I'm spending a day on the Ibiza today, so I might actually add that on as well. But as for now, thank you for going through that rather nerve-wracking job. Cheers. I don't have to say subscribe to this one because everyone's a mate on this one. You're me buddies, ain't you, on this one? So I know you're all subscribed. Give it a thumbs up if you want. You know, you don't have to on this one. It's just a bit of a laugh, innit, Fred 2? Thank you very much for watching, Fred 2. I say I'll put another video up very, very shortly, but as for now, please stay safe, look after yourselves, and yeah, catch you on the next one. See you later.